once again, the defense has lost the Bengals a football game in a game where they put up 42 points was not enough for the 10th or 12th time, it feels like. Um, yeah, the Bengals lost to the Bears in a 47-42 slugfest. In a game where Joe Flacco throws for 470 yards, a career high, it was not enough because this Bengals defense is not, jokingly, the worst defense in the NFL, potentially, probably NFL history. Um, and they showed out once again against the Chicago Bears, in a game where things kind of rolled the Bengals' way. They got an onside kick there at the end and went down and scored. And before, Zach, I throw it to you. When we scored and we gave them like 50 seconds left on the clock, I think it was before
Yeah, maybe a
the
little
end of the
less. Yeah.
game. What percentage did you feel like we were going to win that game? Or that the defense was going to be able to get a stop?
40-60.
I literally remember I was sitting there and I'm like, they're going to score. I was like, we're
Yeah.
not going to win this game. I was like, they're going to drive down the field and score. I've seen this too many times.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's exactly what happened.
there was about 50 seconds left, but I was like, you never freaking know. I mean, well, I was going to say, like, I mean, last year against the Broncos, our defense got a stop at the end of the game, but they didn't because that was why we went into overtime. So,
Yeah. They got to
so
stop in overtime.
yeah, they didn't stop in overtime. Yeah, I probably like, I don't know, at that point in time, probably like less than 50. I can guarantee you that.
Which is fair.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, we said it here last week. Worst defense that I think's ever been assembled at an NFL level. So, yeah, I mean, they just couldn't even get one stop. I mean, they let 47 points up to the Bears. I mean, are you serious right now? Like, yeah, the Bears are decent, but 47 points? And the week before, we let 39 up to the winless Jets. Yeah, I mean, it's bad, dude. It's really bad. And I was laughing on the Monday night broadcast with Troy Aikman and Joe Buck last night because the Cowboys are terrible defensively. The Cowboys are second to last, and I think every defensive like statistic right now, only to the Bengals. And it was just funny because they were Troy Aikman was making a comment, and I started just laughing. He was just like, yeah, I mean, for as bad as the Cowboys defense has been this year, the Bengals have been worse. Like, yeah, it's pretty bad. But I mean, yeah, to be truthfully honest with you, I don't really have much to say on this. I mean, because there's not anything else to say, I mean, it's the same story as we've seen over the past several weeks here and really even the last year. So there's just not really anything new to say. Um, I mean, defense is the worst in the NFL. And, I mean, is it too much to say that this defense is worse than last year's even, you think? I don't know if it is. I mean,
I think it is worse than last year's.
yeah. I mean, I think
I
that
mean, they're
this
literally dead last in every category. And I think last year they were not dead last, but they were close.
yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, I mean, we say it, like, half jokingly, or we say it to, like, make a overemphasis at the point, but I don't think it's that anymore. I do genuinely think that this is the worst defense that has ever been assembled in the NFL. I mean, I've personally not seen a worse defense. I mean, I'm 22 years old, and I have not I've never seen a worse defense in the NFL. And I'm not even saying that jokingly. Like this defense is really that bad. Um, but yeah, it's just kind of, same old, same old. I was very angry after the game. Like, after the game, we were talking in all of our group chats and you're just saying like, oh, like, people need to be fired right now. Like changes need to be done. And I still do believe that, but it's just like, I mean, it's nothing new. It's just another week in Cincinnati, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
Yeah, I mean, in the last 2 years, when the team puts up 38 points or more, they're 2-4. Which, you would think putting up 38 points in the NFL should get you a win, but obviously that's
Mhm.
not the case. I mean, Joe Flacco at 40, what is he, 41 years old or
He's
40
40 or
years old,
41. 40.
threw for a career high 470 yards
Mhm.
in a losing effort. Now, granted, he did have 3 turnovers, which hurt, but he had 4 touchdowns. Jamar and T both had over 100 yards. T had 2 touchdowns. This was probably the best game from Yoshi. He had 66 yards and a touchdown. The
Mhm.
run game was useless once again. And yeah, I mean, it's been back-to-back weeks where a position player has thrown a touchdown. So that's
Mhm.
embarrassing. Kyle Monangai rushed for 176 yards, which is embarrassing.
And I don't even know how to pronounce
Um,
his last name, and that guy rushed for over 100 yards on us.
yeah. The final play was hard to watch, obviously. The Colston Loveland touchdown was just, uh,
Abysmal.
just yeah, just unbelievable. Um, and last week I threw some stats, and I have some more. And that'll probably wrap up my spiel. But NFL missed tackle leaders through week 9. 3 of them are the Bengals. Jordan Battles missed 15, which is 18%. Demetrius Knight has missed 14, which is 17%. And Geno Stone has missed 13 with 18%. And then after that, it's players on the Saints, Raiders, and Panthers, which all 3 of those teams suck.
I mean, it's just like
But they have the top 3, of course.
it's fundamental stuff. I mean, I I don't understand how this is happening, you know? It's like these guys are supposed to be professional football players. Like genuinely, how is this happening? You know? Like I
Yeah,
seriously don't know what's going on here. It's and I'll tell you, dude, it's not. And for all the people out there that think it is, and all the people out there that are complaining and blah blah blah, it's not the coordinators. It's not.
it's
I
not the
mean,
coaches
it's not at all.
in
Look
general.
at and literally, it's so easy to see that. All you have to do is look at Lou Anarumo on the Colts. Heck, look at Lou Anarumo when we actually had good players. We were a top 10, top 5 defense in the league. Look at Al Golden on Notre Dame last season. He puts out one of the best defenses in college football last year at Notre Dame. It's not the coordinators. I'm telling you, it's not the coordinators. So firing Al Golden, and heck, to be honest with you, even firing Lou Anarumo, not going to do anything. It's not going to do anything at all. It is just simply the fact that we have terrible players. But the thing that's the most shocking about it is just the fundamental stuff, you know? Like how are these professional football players just absolutely whiffing on tackles, you know? That's the part that I just am struggling to understand because it's like, okay, yes, our players are not as talented or they just aren't as good as other guys. But it's strictly fundamentals, you know? Like every player in the NFL, particularly on the defensive side, should be able to make a sound tackle on a consistent basis, you know? That's why it's just so utterly shocking to me that this is the second straight year now where we have multiple players on our starting defense that literally just cannot do fundamentally sound things like tackling. I mean, and me and you were talking last night. you had sent me, a couple of those plays defensively, and I sat there and I watched them and I kind of broke it down a little bit. And I said, "Hey, this is what went wrong on these plays." And I'm telling you, man, like I told you last night, these issues are issues that we dealt with our seventh graders this year. I kid you not. Like over pursuing, horrible leverage, god awful angles, not wrapping up, leaving your feet. That's all fundamental tackle skills that we had to address with the junior hires this year. And these are NFL players that aren't doing these correctly. I that's the part that's just so completely mind-blowing to me. I don't understand how that's possible. I don't. Um so it's not a scheme thing. It's not the coordinators. It's not the coaches. Our players just straight up are terrible. They suck. That's what it is. Um,
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
and that's the front office. So, I said somebody needs to be fired. Duke Tobin needs to be fired. Scouting department needs to be fired. But I will tell you though, and you did touch on it briefly when you were saying your stats there. You said the run game was useless as usual. That's a problem. That has to change. I've been preaching that for the last 2 years now. We've got to run the ball better. So and that's the only thing that I am kind of like, okay, that is more of a scheme thing. Is just how we are so completely inefficient at running the ball and pass protection. That's the only really thing that I think is more of a scheme thing that is concerning in my opinion about like Zach Taylor and the offensive coaching staff,
Yeah,
Um, that's my only thing with them. So I don't really know what to think about Zach Taylor yet. I still haven't made like a final decision on where I stand on that, but I can tell you with full certainty that the defensive coaching staff is not why our defense sucks. I can tell you that with 100% certainty.
yeah. And, to add on to the point that, Duke Tobin and the scouting department needs to be fired. Um, PFF grades, which I know is a big hot topic this year, but Shamar Stewart is 128 out of 129 defensive linemen. He
Hmm.
is literally the second to worst lineman in the NFL currently, by which it
Not
stands.
surprising based on the film that we looked at.
Yeah, and
I
here's
mean, him
here's a
getting
couple
blown off
more.
the wall.
Yeah. So, um, he for so I have a chart that says most impactful rookie edges. He's last. Um, he has a 3.1% impact rate on 128 snaps, one pressure, three tackles. Bear in mind, Jamar Chase has more tackles this season than he does. Um, and, on this list, Jack Sawyer's the top of this list, Jalen Walker's top of this list, Donovan Ezraku's the top of this list. Mike Green's up on this list, James Pierce up on this list. A lot of
All
guys that,
guys
like
you
we
said they
said
should have
last
taken,
week,
mind you.
yes. So, um, yeah, I mean, I usually don't like to, label guys as a bust, like in their first years, but yeah, Shamar Stewart sucks. Like he's
Mhm,
just not good.
mhm.
And that was a thrown away pick. And yeah, I mean, it's just inexcusable. We talked about it last week. It's inexcusable to throw away these picks. And they're trying to do all this stuff and it's just not working out. Um, and yeah, it's bad. And until Duke Tobin is fired, it's not going to change. So, which is the depressing part about it.
Mhm.
Um, so, we expect the Bengals to make some moves, and they did make one today. They today being the trade deadline. They traded Logan Wilson to the Cowboys for a seventh round pick. Logan Wilson had requested a trade a couple of weeks ago. And he has been, I think him and Trey Hendrickson were the two longest tenured Bengals on the defense.
Mhm.
Um, and he had gotten benched, I think, a week or two ago for Barrett Carter, which, may or may not have been a questionable move, depending on who you ask. And now he's on the Cowboys, which is not much better of a defense, but slightly better defense. So he got his wish to be removed from the Bengals. So what were your quick thoughts on that deal?
Um, I mean, first of all, just got to give a shout out to Logan Wilson. Him and Trey Hendrickson were huge, impactful pieces to our Super Bowl defense and AFC Championship defense. So definitely gonna miss that guy. He was a very good Bengal for quite a long time. Um, with that being said, I think this was a ridiculously stupid trade. We traded him to the Cowboys, who are uh, also terrible defensively, for a seventh round pick. Are you kidding me right now? I that could we could have got more for him. Surely a seventh. I just, I would rather still have him than have a seventh round pick. A seventh round pick, especially for our franchise, is completely useless. So in my mind, we just pretty much said, get out of here. Because I guarantee you, whoever we draft with that seventh round pick will not be in the NFL within about a year, probably less than after the draft. Because, seventh round picks as it is an absolute crapshoot. But a seventh round pick for our team that has no clue how to even pick a first round pick, yeah, that's a useless, absolutely useless trade. So, I am very disappointed with that trade. That was, in my mind, an absolute waste. We basically just got rid of him. So that's my thoughts on that trade. Completely stupid. Duke Tobin doesn't belong in the NFL. That was an absolutely awful trade. And Trey Hendrickson is still in town. Once again, love the guy. He's been a huge part. But for goodness sakes, we need to trade him. I mean, we're not winning anything. It's time to blow it up.
Yeah.
Gosh, dude, it's so frustrating. But yeah, that that Logan Wilson trade, that was terrible. That was an awful trade. Completely awful trade. I would I would rather have him than a seventh round pick. Seriously, when it comes down to it, like, would you rather have Logan Wilson or a 26 seventh rounder? I would way rather have Logan Wilson. Yes, he's 29 years old. He could still play for another several good seasons, though. That was completely useless. Completely useless trade. We just we kicked him out of the building. That's what we did.
Yeah, I mean, a seventh round pick does, yeah, like you said, little to nothing. You probably could have gotten him for like a fifth or sixth, especially from the Cowboys, who are, an incompetent franchise along with ours,
Yeah.
when it comes to, the front office. And so, you know, you might have been able to get a little bit more, but I guess, you know, this is back to back years where they made deadline moves and in return or traded a seventh round pick. So it's not going to do anything. We basically just gave them to them for pretty much free. But what it
The
does
move we
do
made
is
last the move we made last year was trading a seventh round pick for Khalil Herbert.
yeah, that was a useless trade. That was a completely useless trade. But we did save up. We saved like $2.6 million in cap space. Woohoo!
Yeah,
In this trade.
great.
So I guess.
We have
But
no
yeah,
clue what we're doing.
no, obviously not. But I was a little surprised. I mean, not really, but kind of that Trey Hendrickson didn't get moved. Um, reports that came out that they wanted a first round pick for him. And I think I heard a second round pick was thrown on the table, and they said no. Um, so a lot of people were kind of speculating that maybe Trey was going to be, out. And we talked about this Because, I mean, I said this right when Trey got signed, when they signed him with that 1 year deal. I said, I don't see him coming back.
Mm.
I don't see why we gave him a reason to want to come back, especially not if the defense is going to be this bad. Um, and so I think he's probably going to do what Jesse Bates did, where he just walks out the door. Or, somehow we tag him and maybe try to re sign him or trade him, whatever. But I was a little surprised that they didn't move him at the deadline. I guess it's just to show Joe Burrow that, like, hey, we're going to still try to win games when you get back. So then you can get back and maybe, bring us to a 8-8 record or 8-9 record or 9-8 record, whatever.
But see, here's the problem. If we do that, all we're doing is giving ourselves a worse draft pick.
Yeah.
We're not making the playoffs, and if we do, we're not doing anything in it. So we're just putting ourselves in a worse position draft-wise. Like, it's so frustrating, dude.
Yeah, no, I get it. But that would be the only reason why I can think that they wouldn't trade Trey. Because, I mean, for example, the 49ers, Mikael Williams is out for the year. Nick Bosa's out for the year. They desperately need pass rushers. And so I heard that they were on the phones all day, desperately trying to find a pass rusher. And, I'm sure they called the Bengals and they didn't, and they couldn't figure it out. The Cowboys called the Bengals, and obviously they got a different Bengals player, but there were teams that were interested, but they just weren't willing to pull the trigger.
I do side with the Bengals on this one. I personally would not trade him for less than a first. I think Trey Hendrickson is absolutely worth a first round pick. I don't care that he's 30. He's had 2 back-to-back 17-plus sacks seasons. He can play for, I would probably say, at least another good 2 to 3 seasons. He's 100% worth a first, so I don't think I would move him for anything less than a first either. But it is just kind of frustrating that we weren't able to get anything done. Because I feel like, I mean, I don't know what goes on in these discussions and stuff, but I feel like we could have, maybe could have tried to press in a little harder for the Niners. Because, like you said, both their pass rushers are out for the season. So it's like, maybe could have tried to push that a little bit harder, maybe than we did. I don't know for sure, like I said, but I just think that he's worth a first, and I'm a little disappointed that we weren't able to get that done.
Yeah, me too.
Because, I think pretty much we have to tag and trade him this offseason now. We cannot
in
let
order
him
to
just
not
walk
lose
out
him.
the door. Like, we
Yeah, I
can't
agree.
pull a Jesse Bates. Like, we didn't move him now, so we have to tag him by March and then trade him by April so that we have that pick at the end of April. So I think that's what we have to do now.
Yeah, I agree. You want to have some fun?
Yeah.
We've been for the last week and a half. We've been pretty much just destroying the Bengals and talking negatively of them. So we're gonna have some fun, and we're here at what? Where are we heading into? Week 10? Is that right?
Yes.
Heading into week 10, and we're gonna do a mock draft because it seems to be where we're headed. But we're gonna get a little nuts with this one. We're gonna have some fun here. Let me pull up the simulator real quick. All right. So for this exercise, we have the 5th pick because we project to be absolutely horrible for the rest of the season.
We hope that this is where we land.
Yes. Right now, currently, we have the 9th or 8th or 9th pick, I think, if the season were to end today. But for this exercise, we're going to say that we're going to be worse than the Cleveland Browns. And then we're going to do a little fun trade we're going to trade Trey Hendrickson. We're going to say that we tagged him. We're going to be moving him to the 49ers for, if I can find them, for what their 23rd pick. And what was it? A 27-second, right?
It was a 26-second.
We give up a 26-second.
Yes, and we get their first and a 27-second, I believe, is what it was.
So boom. So we did that. So now we have 2 first-round picks. Mm-hmm. Now, keep in mind, there's like a 0% chance that any of this will happen. But this is, what we would do if we were the general managers.
Yeah, which we should be.
But we're not done trading. We are going to trade with the Commanders, trade for the 9th pick, get back into the top 10. We're going to trade the 23rd pick, our first this next season, and give me one sec. And then we'll trade, you want to throw in a 3rd, or we'll throw in a 27th third. That seems about fair, right?
Yeah. So 2 firsts and a 3rd to move at pick 9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll say that that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
So now the Bengals have two top 10 picks. Let's go.
And this is how it'll be.
Now let's do this, start this draft and see what happens. We are rejecting the Jets trade. They have too many picks. So we sit here with Caleb Downs, Spencer Fanu, Arvell Reese, Francis Malioga, Peter Woods, Jordan Tyson, all those guys on the board.
Mm-hmm.
I think we kind of know where this is going.
Oh, wait. Okay, yeah, we're up right now. Yeah, I mean, yes, I think that everybody knows what the right pick here is going to be. I mean, we got, scroll back up again. We got a quarterback. Nope. Downs, he's on the board. We don't tackle. We're fine. I think, like you said, I think we know who the guy is here. He's been, in my opinion, one of the more dominant players in college football this year. Absolute freak athlete. Good old Ohio boy from Glenville, I think is the high school he's from. So I think, I think we go Arvell Reese here.
I agree. He is what we like to call a freak of nature.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing.
He's a freak of linebacker spot.
He's a freak of nature physically, but he also is actually good at football, unlike Shamar Stewart, who's a freak of nature physically, but horrible at football.
Yes. And basically one full season or one half of a season, because Arvell Reese didn't really play a whole lot last year because of Cody Simon and Sonny Styles and all those guys being up there. He has more sacks than Shamar Stewart has in his career. He has 6.5 sacks this year, with 28 tackles. And yeah, I mean he's had a sack in his last 4 games, a sack and a half against Illinois.
He is that,
and
guy.
he's 6'4", 243. He's just an absolute stud. And I would be over the moon if we could bring him in to be our new linebacker, because obviously the 2 that we drafted have not been good. No. So,
and he brings that pass rushing help too.
Yeah, so let's put the card in immediately for that. I'm picking for the Giants. Let me just grab a player real quick. Who do the Giants want to take?
Who do the Giants need? Maybe
Carnell Tate? Is that too high at pick 8? We'll draft Spencer Fanu. Screw it.
Yeah.
All right. Now we have pick 9 in our fun scenario. And wouldn't you know, look who's still on the board.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like we suspected. So yeah, yes. There's another pretty clear pick here, in my opinion. Going back on the defensive side, because our defense is the worst thing that I've ever seen with my eyeballs. And so we bolstered the linebacker and edge rushing positions with Arvell Reese, one of the best athletes in the class, probably. And we're still lacking on that defensive back room. Obviously, our DBs are probably don't belong in the NFL. And I think you've got a dang near generational defensive back talent sitting right there. Another stud, been very efficient at Ohio State. He's been an anchor on the best defense in the nation for the past 2 straight seasons here. So I think, like you said, pick's pretty clear here. I think in this scenario, I think that if I was the GM, I'd write that name and I would sprint that thing in and not look back.
Yeah, Caleb Downs, he's been the best defensive player in college football for probably the last 2 years. Um, he's, like you said, a generational safety talent. And yes, even though he is a safety, he's, you watch the tape, he's just unreal. So fast at, closing in on tackles. Like the amount of times where a running back will, get outside or they'll run a screenplay and he just blows it up from that safety position is, pretty often and very impressive. Um, and, I think this year, if you're a NFL team, it's a pretty good rule of thumb to draft Ohio State defenders because they currently are the best defense in the country and probably in the conversation for one of the best defenses in college football history.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, a big part of that is because of guys like Caleb Downs and Arvell Reese. And, obviously, we're Ohio State fans, but we've watched plenty of games. We know how these guys are, and they're both just phenomenal players, phenomenal talents, and would easily transform this defense into, significantly better than what they currently are. I can say
Yeah.
that for at the least. So
Yeah, I mean, you make those 2 picks right there, and you're already looking at a significantly better defense just with those 2 guys. So I think that that's complete. I mean, that's an overhaul defense right there just with those 2 picks. So, and I mean, I saw Caleb Downs was drawing like Troy Polamalu comparisons. So, I mean, I think that would be pretty clutch if we were able to get that.
yeah, I mean that's a pretty fair comparison because he plays, sometimes he's kind of like a pseudo linebacker at times for Ohio State.
Mhm.
And like I said, with his closing ability and his tackle ability, he definitely could be a type of guy like that. And yeah, I mean, if for some crazy reason that this would actually be, realistic and actually happen, I would just be over the moon as a
Oh,
Bengals
yeah.
fan.
Yeah.
Like it would just be hit the draft completely out of the park, which I can say we've only done like one time in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And that was back in 2020.
Mhm.
Um, I would be beyond thrilled. Now this is an ultra unrealistic mock draft. But we're in week 10. Who really cares? So
Yeah,
now
I
we're
mean,
sitting here since we traded our second round pick. We have a third round pick. So that's why I didn't pick the second.
so who's on the board here? We got a
Should we just
corner,
get this
Drew
guy? Just
Aller.
go all Ohio State players.
Just
Caden McDonald.
take another Ohio State defender, which is kind of fair. Um, I'm
Let's
looking
look at the
at
interior line just out of curiosity.
okay, yeah, you got a couple solid
We could
guys.
bring the
Ah,
UC
yes,
guy
a
back.
Bearcat. He would be decent, but if we're going
There's the
that route,
corners, edge rushers. You see, here's the thing. I haven't dug deep into my draft stuff yet, so I'm kind of unfamiliar with a couple of these names.
yeah, I know. But I mean, just based off of like positionally speaking, I mean, obviously, I think you're looking at AJ Harris because we definitely need corners because I kind of think DJ Turner is really about our only good corner. Cam Taylor Britt is
Yeah.
abysmal. Um, and I mean, Josh Newton is decent, I guess, but I would probably I would say we need a corner. But I would also say that we need a interior defensive lineman. So, I mean, we could go, we could just take 3 Ohio State players, but I mean, I guess, based on like position rankings here, AJ Harris is the best player on the board. So I think maybe you go that route if this is the board here. What do you think?
Looking up AJ Harris real quick. So AJ Harris is 6'1", 191. This season he has 15 tackles, 1 pass deflection. He is a junior. Let's look at his stats. He had 48 tackles last season with 1 interception, 5 passes deflected.
Yeah, it's solid.
So yeah, solid for a 3rd-round guy. And
Yeah.
then let's look at Dante Corleone, who I think is one of the
Yeah.
best names in college football.
Yeah.
The
I
UC
wouldn't hate that
product.
either.
He has had at least 3 sacks in every single season that he's been a Bearcat. Which for an interior defensive guy is pretty good. He's 6'1", 335. He's from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yeah. He's a stud, man. I mean, I would be totally fine if we went that route. You can really never have too many good defensive linemen, especially with how I don't even have words for how bad ours is.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't hate going that route. Keep the Godfather in Cincy.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Keep the
let's do it.
Godfather in Cincy.
Yeah. And we need Ohio guys. Ohio just has good football, except for the professional level. So just keep them in Ohio,
Yep, and that's what we did. We drafted a guy from Cleveland, we drafted a guy from Cincinnati, and then we drafted Caleb Downs.
Yeah.
Who plays for, the Buckeyes.
So, and that's what's up. I mean, I think, to be honest with
Look
you,
at
I
that
think
draft.
Yeah, I mean, with those 3 picks right there, I mean, I think that we got I think that you can feel confident that our defense is significantly better just with those 3 picks.
Absolutely. You feel 100 times better having these 3 picks than you did entire last year's draft class.
Yeah, so then, so you run Barrett Carter and you run Demetrius Knight, who both suck, but maybe with a year under their belt, they'll get better at linebacker. And then you run the Godfather and BJ Hill interior. And then you run, I think you can play Arvell Reese and kind of that like hybrid walked up linebacker /
like Micah Parsons' role.
Yeah. So you play him in that like hybrid edge spot. And then on the other side, oh Lord, I guess you play Jamar Stewart.
That would, as of right now, that's what it would have to be. Him or Miles Murphy.
Oh, jeez. I'd almost rather Miles Murphy. Both of them are terrible, but yeah, you still got a hole on that side. But and then defensive
that's for free agency.
Yeah, defensive backs. You run DJ Turner and probably Josh Newton. It probably could be worse. Probably.
And in this scenario, you'd probably still have Cam Taylor-Britt because we didn't draft a corner.
Who's awful, but whatever. Yeah. And then safeties, you've got a generational defensive back with Caleb Downs, and then you run Jordan Battle, who I think is decent. Get Geno Stone out of there probably. So I would feel a lot better about that defense than I do feel about our defense right now, which is like shockingly bad.
Yeah. When I feel like if this was the case, you would have guys who were definitely like core pieces to this defense that you can see, having significant impact. Like we talked about last week, out of the people on this defense who are core guys that are like going to be here long term, and there's not many. There's like
I don't know if there's one.
DJ Turner.
Other than him, yeah, that's probably it.
And then obviously like Trey Hendrickson and everything, but but like this would give you a good solid young core to kind of kickstart your thing. And And, it only takes one draft, I
Yeah,
mean, if you
100%.
slowly like, we saw the Lions, they pretty I mean, they were heading in the right direction, but that 2020, what was it, 2 draft or 3 draft when they got Gibbs, Branch, Jack Campbell, all those guys completely
Mhm.
propelled them into a playoff team. Um, we've seen a bunch of teams just completely, change the outlook of their seasons off of the draft.
Yeah.
And we just have to get to the point where we're not wasting our first 3 picks.
Mhm.
Um,
Exactly.
so in this
And this
scenario,
would
I
not be
don't
a
I don't
waste.
think we I don't think we would.
No, no. I would be,
So,
like you said, I would be over the moon if this was our top 3 picks for this coming season.
yes, but odds are it's not gonna happen. But I do think if the Bengals, continue on the trajectory they are this year and, continue sucking, um, we might not have the 5th pick, but let's say we have, 7 to 10. I do think there is a world where one of Arvell Reese or Caleb Downs could fall to there because
Yeah.
both of them are at a position that isn't the most premium in the NFL. Now, both are
Mhm.
probably, if you look at just pure talent, probably both top 5 talents in the draft. But,
Yeah.
sometimes teams overthink this stuff. So I do think there's a realistic scenario that if we are sitting in that top 10, that there is a chance that one of them could slide slightly to around where we could possibly be.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that. If we can just get into the top 10, I think there it is decently realistic that we walk away with one of those 2 guys. I don't think we're walking away with both. If we were smart, we could, but I don't think we're going to.
Yeah. But I mean, I would also be happy if we left with one of them because, they're both
Yeah,
phenomenal players. But
for
having
sure.
both is 10 times better.
Exactly.
But will it
We need
happen?
it.
Probably not.
No, no, no. But we can dream.
Yes, that was our fun little exercise to, you know, just to kind of get nuts, mess around a little bit,
Live
have
in
a pipe dream,
yes, precisely.
live in a fantasy where the Bengals front office is, good at their job.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly, yeah.
so I don't, we'll see if that actually happens. Maybe we just spoke it into existence,
That would
and
be great.
Duke
That would be
Tobin
great.
is going to watch this video and be like, you know what, I think we should do that, and
Well,
then
I don't think Duke Tobin's going to be employed by the Bengals, but
no,
maybe the new GM
there actually are reports that he might not be with us past the bye week, which
would be a huge
awesome.
win. If
So let's
Duke
hope
Tobin
those
is
reports are
still
true.
if Duke Tobin is still the GM of the Bengals past the bye week, then we lost the bye week. We just lost the bye week.
Defense put up 40 points in the bye week.
Yeah. So yes, that man should be escorted out of Cincinnati within the next coming days.
Yes, I agree. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for us today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know what you guys thought about the Bengals trade deadline move, trading Logan Wilson. If they should have if they should have traded Trey Hendrickson. And hope you guys enjoyed our little fun mock draft exercise. Um, and thank you all for watching. We will see you guys next week after the Bengals bye. So we're not gonna have a game to talk about, but we will find something to talk about. I'm sure because
Yeah, we will.
there's always something bad to talk about the Bengals. So
Yeah.
we'll see you guys in the next one.